So in this video today, I just want to take you through 7 steps that you need to follow to essentially build an agency. And this isn't going to go through anything around like the legality of setting up a company or anything like that. This is purely focusing on getting your offer right, getting the pricing sorted, how to win clients, and then how to win new business off the back of those clients through things like referrals, etc. So yeah, this won't be the video for you if you're looking for a complete guide on like how to do a company formation, how to register a name, etc. This is purely how to get more clients into your business, grow your revenues, and then continue to win basically more revenue off the back of your existing clients. So the first thing that we'll focus on is your Grand Slam offer. So with this, the first step that you need to go through is getting a sharp ICP, so ideal client profile. So what you need to determine first of all is the industry that you're targeting the role of the person you're targeting. So that could be CTO, CFO, head of marketing, whatever it might be, but you need to be crystal clear on the people that this will help, and then the size of the company you're targeting as well. You depending on what your offer is as well, it may be a case if you go too small, they won't be able to afford your offer. If you go too big, they might want to look to sort of build the function inside or in-house their business. So again, these are critical things to sort of cover off first of all. So you've got to make sure you've got that ticked off first. The next thing you need to do is actually identify the problem that you're looking to help them with. So for example, is it helping them win more clients? Is it helping them get more visibility for their business through marketing, which will generate more leads? You need to basically fully understand what it is like the problem is that they're struggling with, because then once you can kind of uncover that piece, you then also will help you with the copy when it comes to the outbound later on. So just make sure first of all you've identified who you're targeting and then the problem they face, and then the actual outcome you would deliver when you fix that problem. So for example, as you can see there in the bullet below, they may be struggling to get clients for their business. So you could promise them, if you're doing outbound or outreach services for them, that you can deliver 3 clients in 90 days. And then if they don't do that, then you can also offer a guarantee, which you'll see is a couple bullets below. So the biggest thing that you can also help to increase your sales is having a risk reversal or a guarantee, so that the client essentially has no risk to signing up. So it may be a case they pay you up front or they're paying you a monthly retainer. And rather than you saying, oh, yep, you pay us this for 12 months and then we'll kind of see how we go, it may be a case of in 3 months' time, if you don't see ROI from this, we will give you a full refund of your money, which basically massively increases the chances of them saying yes, because it massively reduces the risk of them saying yes to you. And then if you can also find a way to increase or implement scarcity or urgency into your offer. So for example, we're only working with 5 clients this month. Once those 5 spots are gone, we won't be opening up slots until next month or the month after. But again, this needs to be real scarcity. If for example you're just kind of like, oh, we only work with X clients, we've got a waiting list, and people know that you don't, they're just going to see straight through that, and that will also reduce the amount of trust people have in you as well. So make sure that in terms of scarcity and urgency, that is actually a real thing that you're offering. And for example, if it does take a lot of time on delivery for you and you can only work with X amount of clients per month or whatever it might be, that's great. Or if not, if you can actually work with loads, you can then think of other offers, options for scarcity. For example, first 5 paying clients get X discount or something like that, or a free onboarding call or whatever it might be. Again, you need to be a little bit creative with this just to give people incentive to sign up as soon as possible. Or it may be a case as well in terms of urgency that the first clients who sign up can pay over monthly, and then people later on have to pay in full. But again, I'll leave that up to you to figure out for your offer, because again, this is case by case. And then also a reason as well, so you'll get asked this question quite a lot on calls by a lot of prospects. A lot of people now, especially with the introduction of AI, and obviously you can Google everything, shopping around, they're looking for the best price, the best guarantee, the best offer. Also, one thing that we found from basically what we do with working with recruitment agency owners, there's a lot of outbound companies in that space, but a lot of them actually don't have any recruitment experience whatsoever, which we did. Coming from our background selling CRMs for Bullhorn, I was also an ex-recruiter as well. So because we leveraged our actual recruitment experience and recruitment industry knowledge, that actually helped us convert a lot of clients, because they had a lot more trust that we knew how the market worked, what the hiring managers were looking for, that kind of stuff. So if you do have any experience with that, be sure to leverage it. If you don't, you may find it a little bit trickier to sell, but if you have a very good guarantee, that can also sort of alleviate any problems there too. The next thing you need to do, which again is pricing and packaging. I don't know if I mentioned this as well. So black equals set this up once. So you'll need to do your Grand Slam offer once and your pricing and packaging once. And then blue will repeat every cycle. But in terms of these black ones here, Once you get more data, once you get more feedback, you can start to sort of optimize these and improve them. But realistically, there's not going to be too much work or too many changes you need to do to this over time. So again, that's just something to bear in mind. So in terms of pricing and packaging, so you need to be pricing on the outcome value, so not your time. So the way to think about this is how much ROI you can be generating for clients. So again, going back to our offer, we were saying to clients that you'll get ROI or return on investment on what you spend with us within 90 days or your money back. In recruitment, that's 1 or 2 placements depending on the industry that they're recruiting into. So it's relatively easy for them to get ROI as long as we're kind of doing our job and generating the leads. But of course, it's also on them to close those opportunities and fill those jobs with candidates, which again is out of our hands. So as long as we can demonstrate that we've got you ROI by getting you new clients, you've got terms signed, there's nothing more we can really do in that part. The rest of it is over to you. So again, this will be subject to your own offer, but if there's a way you can say, we will get you X amount of leads or X amount of impressions or increase your visibility, or again, completely dependent on what your offer is, just make sure you're pricing off the back of that rather than sort of, yeah, we will spend a couple hours per week on this. So again, just focus on those outcomes. This here as well, so if you're relatively new and you're starting out, you can just have one offer and make sure you absolutely nail that. You deliver as best you can, you're getting testimonials and case studies off the back of it. If you're a little bit more advanced or experienced, you can have tiers. So it may be that tier 1 is more of a do-it-yourself offer, so you give them all of the tools and tech and knowledge that they need to go do it. That's the cheaper sort of starter package. The middle tier could be more of like a done with you, of we guide you through the setup of the tools, we'll give you some help and support. And then finally, it could be like a done for you where they pay you top dollar, pay you a premium, and you take care of everything for them, take it off their plate. And again, those 3 offers there that I've mentioned will also align with different businesses depending on the phase that they're at as well. For example, a startup might want more of a do-it-yourself just to keep costs low, where a more established business with a sort of decent amount of revenue coming in would rather just pay someone to get it dealt with so they don't have to think about it. So again, worth bearing in mind, but like I said, if you're a newer business, I would just focus on the one offer for now, get that nailed, then you can consider the other 2 later on. And then, yeah, again, the middle tier is normally the one that people tend to go for. A lot of researchers kind of go into this. It's the most popular. So if, for example, the middle tier is, yeah, going to be the biggest sort of benefit to your business, going to make you the most money, just make sure that you've kind of set that up appropriately so it isn't going to take up all of your time. And again, that it's priced to win. The other thing you can do as well, which is often overlooked, is in regards to payment plans and paying full discounts. So realistically, you want to get the money up front if you can, but if you're offering something like a monthly subscription, rather than, for example, they pay for 12 months advance or 3 months or 6 months, again, fully dependent on what your offer is, you can say you can pay over a monthly or quarterly plan, but because you're paying that and not giving us the cash up front, it's actually going to cost you more. So for example, over a 90-day period, it could be that they pay you $2,000 a month, which obviously is $6,000, but if they can pay you up front, it's $4,500, which is saving them $1,500. Not every client will go for that, but it is an attractive offer and also a quick way for you to get cash in the bank as well, if cash flow is sort of critical to a business, if you have a lot of costs, staff, etc. And then the other thing you really need to focus on as well is finding an offer where you can kind of get recurring revenue, or alternatively, you have a high ticket offer which you can kind of sell at volume, so that again, not every month you kind of reset back to zero. I know we've seen a few people sort of on platforms like School and on LinkedIn and stuff who they don't do a monthly subscription model, they do like a get in, get out, but because they're charging so much for their services, like one company that we saw, for example, which we kind of modeled off the back off, was charging around $10,000 per client, and they signed 10 clients in a month, went and delivered all of the work. So they don't really need a monthly subscription model because just of the nature of what their offer is. So again, something to bear in mind, but you need to kind of map those 2 things out first before we move on to the next phase, because those 2 things are absolutely critical when it comes to the outreach, to making sure that you're targeting the right people, you're saying the right things, you're actually speaking to the right people who could actually pay you. Then once you have that, it actually makes the next phase so much easier. So when it comes to outreach, so step 3 here, you need to kind of pick one channel to start with. I know like you'll see a lot of stuff online on, oh, you need to be everywhere, all over the place. Trust me, we tried this. All it ended up doing was kind of setting us back because we'd be so focused on what does this platform need to be, what do we need to say on here, etc., that we ended up just in analysis paralysis. So what we actually focused on purely was email, because that was the service that we were selling. And if we could demonstrate to our clients that we can get your attention with our emails, like imagine how we could help you with yours, kind of thing. So we focused on email, but again, you just need to pick the channel which is most appropriate for you, and the most appropriate channel for you will be the one where you can find the most clients. So for example, a lot of your clients may be sat on LinkedIn. You may be able to find their email addresses quite easily with the lead sourcing tool, or they may be on social media. Again, that's up for you to determine. And then once you've picked that, just focus on making sure you've done everything properly and focusing on very simple messaging. So you want to do introduction at the start, so hi, first name, instantly move into the relevance, like why is it that you're reaching out, we help this, or we've done this, or we work with a competitor, whatever it might be. Then say what your offer is with your guarantee if you can, and then give a call to action at the end. The call to action just needs to be something like, can we send over more information? Would you like to see our brochure? Something that they can say yes or no to. You don't want them to have to think about anything. Just make it as easy as possible for them to reply yes or no. Another thing that's often overlooked as well with people's outreach is not having follow-ups. If, for example, you're using email, we use a tool called Instantly. We set up email campaigns. It has automated follow-ups. It follows up with our prospects continuously. And that, again, just allows us to get the information in front of these people, keep following up with them until they either say no or they say, yep, sorry, been busy, send over the details. So again, this will save you a lot of time, and a lot of the money you'll generate, a lot of the business that we've generated has come from follow-ups, not that initial email as well. So just something to bear in mind. The next thing then is booking calls. So once you get a positive reply or someone goes, yep, saw your stuff, sounds really interesting, let's have a chat. What you want to have set up is a calendar link. And with this is another key piece that is often overlooked. We've seen it quite a lot when speaking to vendors and potential clients and that kind of stuff, where they'll pop you over a link for like a catch-up call or something like that, and there's nothing on it that is qualifying us for speaking with them, especially when we're looking to purchase software or mentors or anything like that. So what you want to have is something which will ask qualifying questions for people who you would essentially want to be speaking with, and this will eliminate anyone who isn't a good fit. So for example, you may want to qualify them by how much revenue they make per month, qualify them by their job title, their location, all these kind of things. You also want to ask them what is the time frame that they'd be looking to get going. So is it 0 to 30 days, 30 to 60, 6 months? So again, you come into that call with an expectation of how quickly are these people looking to turn it around. You also, if you can, want to find out information of have they tried something like this before, what were their results like, so you can also know going into that call, have they had a bad experience, have they been burnt? So again, allow you to kind of set the frame quite early on. So I just spend a little bit of time going through that. You can also use things like Claude and ChatGPT or any other AI tool really to put some information in and get a bit of a steer on the sort of questions you should be asking for your industry. But keep it as simple as possible. You don't want to have a million questions, just 3 or 4, qualifying those people just so that if someone doesn't fit your ICP, you're not going to waste your time having a chat with them with someone you essentially can't really help. The next thing then, once that is done, you've got the call booked, is the sales call. So what you really need to do with this is have a structure to your calls. So rather than kind of rocking up, just completely freeballing it, waffling on about what your offer is and why you can help them and why you're the best and that kind of stuff, you want to spend the first portion of the call doing a discovery. So understanding what it is they've tried before, what is the problem they have, what is the outcome that they're looking for, and then actually use that portion of the call to actually qualify if they're a fit for what you do. So rather than using the sales call as like a persuasion or like trying to trick people like you see a lot of stuff about online, or use this closing method, you're using a sales call to essentially qualify, can you help this person? Do they fit what you help with? And are there anything here which would stop you from helping them? And if that's the case, just let them know this isn't a fit. They'll respect you for that and then move on. If they are a fit, you can then move on to the next part of the call, which is demonstrating what it is that you do, how you can help, talking through results, explaining to them what the timeline would look like and how it would work for them. And for this, I would massively recommend having like a script or like a guide that they can follow. This will just massively, again, help you with the structure. Make sure you're asking everything that you need to, make sure you're telling them everything that they need to know about your offer. And when it comes to things like dropping in your pricing, your guarantees, that kind of stuff, it'll feel a lot more comfortable when you're kind of reading it in a proper flow, as opposed to kind of slot it in, or like they ask about it and it feels a little bit uncomfortable. And that will also massively help you with improvements over time as well, because you can go through the script, that bit didn't really work too well, let's tweak it, let's try this, or this client gave me this objection. You insert that bit and you kind of pre-handle it, And what I mean by that is you address that before they even bring it up in the first place. So these are things you can also use Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever it might be to continuously learn by taking transcripts from your sales calls, putting it into there. It will give you feedback and say, you missed this objection, you could have said that, this bit was really good. And then it will again give you like a bit of a sales coach that you're not really paying for that can help you improve and get better at sales over time, which will massively help you stop dreading your sales calls as well. The next piece here is client delivery. So with this as well, once you've got them closed, you've taken the money, you've let them know what's going on, you book in your kickoff call for client delivery. You want to get them onboarded as soon as possible to get things moving. Set expectations as to what a quick win will look like. If you can get a quick win within the first couple of weeks, you're absolutely flying, because they'll instantly be like, yep, this is worth the investment. I trust these people. They know what they're doing. They did exactly what they said they would. If your offer doesn't really allow for that, you need to think of a way that you can kind of get them a quick win early doors. It may be something as simple as they complete a form or whatever it might be. You'll have to be creative with this as well. In our case, for example, we try to get them a positive reply as soon as possible. Typically that's done within 2 weeks. Once we do that, we then basically display to them the system works, this will get you results. Now's the time to optimize, refine, and kind of scale up the outreach as well. So focus on those early wins. Make sure you've clearly explained the timelines, the outcomes, what's expected of them, what's expected of you, so everyone's on the same page. If you can send a recap email as well to put that in writing, that will also massively help you as well. And then again, just keep them happy, keep checking in with them, make sure they're sort of happy with the service you're providing to them, because the last thing you want is that you think everything's good, then you get a message out of the blue or an email, or they jump on a call and they say, we haven't heard from you, what's happening, I expected more, or this. So again, communication is key with this. Try to over communicate and just make sure they're informed every step of the way. And then finally, once you've delivered very good results for them, which I'm sure in the vast majority of cases, delivery will be your strong point. So you've done what you said you would do, you've got them results. Now is the time to ask them for a testimonial, ideally on a video call, because it's basically people will trust it a lot more if they're watching like a video interview rather than just some written words, just because a lot of people have kind of made them up, or a lot of them are kind of vague as to, yeah, like would recommend, had a great experience, but doesn't really mean anything. You want to have a video call with them explaining their experience, what they liked about it, what results they got, how their previous experience with other companies were, so they can give other people a full picture on what it is like to work with you. And then once you essentially have that, you've got the testimonial, you've locked them in. You can also turn that into an in-depth case study as well to put on your website, put on your socials, people to have a read through. Because if you can put that case study or testimonial in front of someone who is in the exact same boat as that client that you just helped, the sales call will be so much easier, because they're like, yep, they helped me, I just need to ask a few questions about how it would work for us. Then away you go. So it'll warm them up a lot and make that process easier for you too. But from that point as well, once they're happy, you've got them a good result, not only is then the time to ask for the testimonial, it's time to ask for the referral. Do they know anyone? Do they have any friends or colleagues or family or someone else in the same position as them that you could help with? You'll be amazed how many people in certain industries have connections from networks they're part of or group chats they're in. With a lot of our clients, for example, we just asked if they'd be willing to post in sort of network group chats they're in, and we got so much inbound business coming from that, which was so much easier to close as well, just because it's warm, it's coming from someone that they trust. So again, that's something to definitely think about, and it's a way to continue to make more money off the back of your existing clients who are happy. Because if they're being told by an existing client, yeah, can't recommend them enough, like there's not like much of a better endorsement than someone who has actually paid for your services endorsing it on your behalf, and they're more likely to listen to that person than they are to you. That's just the way that it works. And then if as well with your referrals, you can offer them a incentive or a reward for doing it. For example, with us, we offer a 10% referral fee on the fee that we take, so that every client is then incentivized essentially to refer people, because then they're making money off the back of it. And also in some cases, some of our clients have referred so many people who've ended up signing up with us that they've actually made back their whole fee that they paid us in the first place, and of course have made profit from using the system too. So in terms of that, you can be creative with that, but again, if you can incentivize people or your existing clients to refer you, you're going to get a lot more business in, which then also spreads the number of channels and opportunities you get to win clients. You're not purely focused on just outbound. You can get referrals, stuff from socials, etc. And then, like I said already, just turn them into case studies, plaster them everywhere, get them promoted on your socials, make sure you're visible, because that is the key as well, just making sure you have visibility. And when it comes back to the outreach piece as well in point 3, The biggest thing that will help you with your outreach is not only, of course, getting the messaging and targeting right, which will be covered in the Grand Slam offer, but it's the consistency. You need to be reaching out to people every single day that you can. So, for example, I know in some cases you can't reach out 7 days a week because at weekends people are off and it's inappropriate. In some industries you can. With us, for example, we reach out every single day, 5 days a week, and ensure that we're getting in front of people at all times. We've also now started looking into things like ads, etc. But again, that's all further down the road. If you're just starting out or you're struggling to get clients, focus on these components first. These 7 steps will get you from either 0 to 10 or 10 to 20 or 20 to 50 if you just do it repeatedly. And the reason I can say that is because this is exactly what we did. We haven't done anything fancier outside of this. We just reach out to people consistently, provide them with the guarantee, show our social proof. We have a good sort of pre-call process with the calendar link, and also automatically sending over our brochure to them as well. And with this as well, if you want more information or you want to kind of bit of a soundboard, or you want to be in a community of people who are also doing this, we have a community called The Senders, which is free to join as a free 7-day trial. Then it's $19 a month. In there, it's full of agency owners, coaches, consultants, everyone in the same boat as you going through this. We're all helping them to implement their process. So it's not really an expensive course or anything like that. It's just a group community where you can go in, do things at your own pace, take the bits that you need, and then I'm pretty confident that this will get you the clients that you want and allow you to scale your business and take all your sales calls from being a bit of a slog to more of an enjoyable process. And if you have any questions about this as well, feel free to stick them in the comment section below and we'll come back to you on that as well. But yeah, I hope this helps. And as you'll see here as well, just finally before I go, with this 3 to 7 points, this is like a continuous cycle. So you don't do this once and then kind of stop, especially when you sign clients. The worst thing you can do is stop your outreach. You need to keep doing this repeatedly, do this every single week, keep winning clients, keep booking calls, keep making sales, because a lot of people you'll find as well aren't ready to buy at this point in time, but in 6 months time, all the people you're speaking to now, you get a lot of them coming back being like, yep, ready to go. So you're building future pipeline, which will compound and compound. The worst thing you can do is stop that outreach, because in 6 months time, if you get there and there's nothing coming, you kind of got to start from scratch and it's all hands on deck and you're panicking, it'll become such a slog and you'll be really under pressure to close. So follow this process. Like I said, any questions, let me know, and I hope this was helpful.